Chapter 7. On Direct and Indirect Confrontation. The ordinary rule for the use of the army is that the army command receives orders from civilian authorities and then gathers and concentrates the troops, quartering them together. There is nothing more difficult than armed conflict. To fight face to face with others to gain advantages is the most challenging thing in the world. The difficulty of armed conflict lies in making long distances seem short and turning problems into advantages. While you appear to be far away, you begin your journey and arrive before the enemy. Therefore, you make their route long, enticing them with the hope of winning. When you set out after others and arrive before them, you understand the strategy of making distances seem close. Employ a special unit to deceive the enemy by drawing them into a false pursuit, making them believe the bulk of your forces are far away. Then, launch a surprise attack force that arrives first, even though it started the journey later. Consequently, armed conflict can be profitable or perilous. It is profitable for the expert but perilous for the inexperienced. Mobilizing the entire army for combat to gain an advantage would take a long time, but fighting for an advantage with an incomplete army would result in a lack of resources. If you mobilize quickly, traveling day and night, covering double the usual distance, and you fight for an advantage thousands of kilometers away, your military leaders will be captured. The strong soldiers will get there first, and the tired ones will arrive later. Generally, only 1 out of every 10 succeeds. When the route is long, troops become weary. If they have spent their strength on mobilization, they arrive exhausted while their adversaries are fresh, ensuring they will be attacked. Fighting for an advantage 50 kilometers away will thwart the command's plans, and generally, only half of the soldiers will do it. If you fight for an advantage 30 kilometers away, only 2 out of every 3 soldiers will cover the distance. Thus, an army perishes if it is ill-equipped, lacks provisions, or has no money. These 3 things are necessary. You cannot fight to win with an ill-equipped army or without provisions, which money facilitates. Therefore, if you are unaware of your rival's plans, you cannot form precise alliances. Unless you know the mountains and forests, the gorges and passes, and the condition of swamps, you cannot maneuver with an armed force. Unless you use local guides, you cannot take advantage of the terrain. Only when you know every detail of the terrain's condition can you maneuver and wage war. Therefore, a military force is employed according to the planned strategy, mobilized with the hope of reward, and adapted through division and combination. A military force is established through strategy, distracting the enemy so they cannot discern your true position and impose their superiority. It is mobilized through the hope of reward, taking action when the possibility of an advantage arises. Dividing and recombining troops is done to confuse the adversary and observe how they react to you, allowing you to adapt for victory. Thus, when a military force moves quickly, it is like the wind; when it moves slowly, it is like the forest. It is voracious like fire that devastates a plain without leaving a blade of grass. It is immobile like a mountain when encamped. It is as difficult to fathom as darkness; its movement is like thunder that rumbles. To occupy a place, divide your troops. To expand your territory, divide the spoils. The general rule of military operations is to deprive the enemy of food as much as possible. However, in areas where people have little, it is necessary to divide the troops into smaller groups to take what they need in various places to ensure they have enough. As for dividing the booty, it means that you must distribute it among the troops to safeguard what has been gained, preventing the enemy from regaining it. Act after making an estimation. The winner is the one who first knows the measure of what is far and what is near. This is the general rule of armed conflict. The first to make a move is the guest, and the last is the host. The guest has a tough task, while the host has an easy one. Near and far relate to displacement. Fatigue, hunger, and cold arise from displacement. An ancient book on military affairs says, "Words are not heard, so cymbals and drums are made." Banners and flags are made due to a lack of visibility. Cymbals, drums, banners, and flags are used to concentrate and unify the soldiers' ears and eyes. Once they are unified, the brave cannot act alone, nor can the timid withdraw alone. This is the general rule of employing a group. Unifying the soldiers' ears and eyes means making them look and listen in unison so they do not fall into confusion and disorder. Signals are used to indicate directions and prevent individuals from going wherever they please. Therefore, in nighttime battles, use fires and drums, and in daytime battles, employ flags and banners to manipulate the soldiers' ears and eyes. Use many signals to confuse the enemy's perceptions and make them fear your formidable military power. In this way, you deplete the energy of their armies and demoralize their generals. First and foremost, you must be able to remain steadfast in your own heart, only then can you demoralize enemy generals. Hence, tradition states that people of ancient times had the firmness to demoralize, and the ancient law of chariot drivers said that when the original mind is firm, fresh energy is victorious. Thus, the energy of the morning is full of zeal, that of noon wanes, and the energy of the night withdraws. Consequently, experts in handling weapons prefer enthusiastic energy, attacking the flagging and those in retreat. They are the ones who master energy. Anyone weak in the world is ready to fight in a minute if they feel encouraged, but when it comes to taking up arms and entering battle, they are possessed by energy. When this energy fades, they will stop, be frightened, and regret having started. The reason why such armies look down on strong enemies, just as they do on virgins, is that they are taking advantage of their aggressiveness, stimulated by any cause. Using order to confront disorder, using calmness to deal with agitation, this is mastering the heart. Unless your heart is entirely open and your mind in order, you cannot expect to be capable of adapting to respond limitlessly, handling events infallibly, facing severe and unexpected difficulties without being troubled, and directing everything without confusion. Mastering strength means waiting for those coming from afar, waiting comfortably for those who are fatigued, and waiting with a full stomach for the hungry. This is what is meant when talking about attracting others to where you are while avoiding being induced to go where they are. Avoiding confrontation against well-ordered combat formations and not attacking large battalions constitutes mastery of adaptation. Therefore, the general rule of military operations is not to confront a large mountain or oppose the enemy with your back to it. This means that if the adversaries are on elevated terrain, you should not attack them uphill, and when they make a downhill charge, you should not face them. Do not pursue enemies when they feign a retreat or attack expert troops. If adversaries suddenly flee before exhausting their energy, there are likely ambushes waiting to attack your troops. In this case, you must hold back your officers so they do not launch a pursuit. Do not consume the food of their soldiers. If the enemy abruptly abandons their provisions, these must be tested before consumption in case they are poisoned. Do not hinder an army on its way back to its country. Under such circumstances, an adversary will fight to the death. You must leave an exit for a surrounded army. Show them a way to save their lives so they are not willing to fight to the death, and you can take advantage to attack them. Do not press a desperate enemy. A weary animal will continue to fight because that is the law of nature. These are the laws of military operations. In a business context, the principles outlined in Chapter 7 can be applied to strategic planning and decision-making. Strategic planning, just as in military strategy, a business should carefully plan its moves. This involves receiving guidance from top management, civilian authorities, and then aligning resources and teams to achieve specific goals. Competitive advantage, gaining an edge over competitors is challenging. It's crucial to find innovative ways to make seemingly distant opportunities more accessible and convert challenges into advantages. This might involve using unique tactics or technologies. Resource management, efficiently mobilizing resources, such as finances and talent, is essential. Rapid decision-making and adaptability can be advantageous, but exhausting resources too quickly can lead to problems. Market entry strategies. When expanding into new markets, consider the distance, competition, and resources required. Understand the terrain, which could be cultural, regulatory, or geographical, and adapt your approach accordingly. Teamwork and coordination. Just as armies must be unified, businesses need to ensure that teams and departments work cohesively. Communication and coordination are vital. Risk management. Evaluate risks before taking action. Know what's near and what's far in terms of challenges and opportunities. Being too hasty or too cautious can both have drawbacks. Visibility and signaling. Use clear signals and symbols to communicate your business's identity and direction. This can help unify employees and convey your strengths to customers and competitors. Energy and adaptation. Businesses should harness enthusiasm and energy when pursuing opportunities. Adaptability is key. Recognize when to press forward and when to hold back. Resource allocation. Allocate resources judiciously to maximize gains while minimizing waste. This includes efficiently distributing rewards and incentives among employees. Customer engagement. In marketing and sales, understand your customers' needs and wants, and use this knowledge to attract them to your products or services. Avoid being overly aggressive or pushy. Exit strategies. When necessary, have a clear exit plan. Whether leaving a market or discontinuing a product, ensure a smooth transition to minimize losses. Market analysis. Continuously monitor your market environment and competitors. Respond quickly to changes and threats, and be prepared for unexpected challenges. In essence, this chapter emphasizes the importance of strategic planning, adaptability, resource management, and understanding the competitive landscape, all of which are crucial aspects of achieving success in the business world.